Initially they wanted to finish this one with a large ramble about seasonals, you know, your Boku no Hero, Overlord and others, but I personally was against it and thank God my persistence won. I know that video would probably granted me more views and possibly subscribers, but I think that this would betray my not watching seasonals rule. I can take 2 seasons just fine, but any further and I might as well just finish Bakemonogatari and all the other stuff I've been deliberately avoiding for that very reason, so instead they've given me Asobi Asobase. Created by Lurche, this is a story about 3 girls. The stupid, the serious, and the American-Japanese cosplaying American. One of them wants to learn English from another, while that another doesn't know a lick of it, so they kinda make this club about games you play to pass time, and that's kinda about it. Oh, and the third one is an idiot. It's another one of those comedy animes that my employers enjoy, but I personally don't find appealing, only this time it's even more stereotypical Japanese. Besides the usual weird and wacky situations, the large part of the humor is in the graphics, aka they make silly faces almost every 2-4 seconds, which kinda explains why Lurche is the one animating this, by the way. After all, silly and exaggerated faces are kinda their shtick. My biggest problem with the comedy of the show is that its style is what I like to call attrition humor. Eventually you'll laugh at one of these situations, either because of a silly face or a funny track or some other reason, but if you're like me in terms of humor preferences, then you're not gonna be proud by this laugh, and if you're like my employers and have no problems in just turning your brain off and laughing at silly situations, you'll quickly find that the format of the show doesn't make it any easier. It's a 12-episode anime, each episode containing 3-4 short stories that have a vague connection to each other, and since every one of them is using effectively the same tricks, even if the viewer will laugh at the first skit, he'll be tired of them on the third one, or in my case, a 5-minute episode will feel like 5 hours. If this was a short format anime, then at least I could have recommended it to people who enjoy this sort of humor, but as it stands, you'll have to basically turn your brain off completely to enjoy it in one sit and not be tired by it, and at that point you could watch just about anything and get the same reaction, which is why I ditched it and watched Sirius the Jaeger instead. Developed by PA Works, it tells us a story about vampires, vampire hunters, maybe a Russian boy named Yuri Zhirov, not Yuli, and their quest to find the MacGuffin of the day, this time the Grand Serious Balls of God mode. Did someone say the Greyman? Yes, it's pretty much that, only more cosmopolitan. I think this is the first time this season where nearly all protagonists and antagonists are foreigners. Heck, even Yura is only half Japanese, is also half Russian, and Sirius, the local name for might as well be werewolves. And I'm not gonna lie, I greatly enjoyed this anime for what it was. The graphics are smooth and nice, the music is actually pretty fun to listen to, though not sure if worthy of a separate download, and the characters were distinct enough to remember them and interesting enough to care. However, I am not sure I can recommend this anime to people. The problems come from its independent origins. Since this anime doesn't have a manga or a light novel to use as a crutch, a lot of lore or general information comes from the characters directly, which means that a lot of the dialogue in this anime consists of nothing more than blatant info dumps of varying levels of tedium. The show also suffers from it being only 12 episodes. It all has the feeling of underperformance, even though in a 50-60 episode show this would all look natural if not required. The antagonists come and go almost interchangeably, so we have little time to know and care for them or their deaths to have any sort of significant impact on you or the story, and the protagonists, though diverse in looks, have almost nothing interesting going on for them, and at least one of them has a wiki page more detailed than her personality in the show. I think the best way to describe this anime would be to compare it with the Van Helsing movie. It's a fine, brainless action series to watch, have fun and forget about it in a week or so, but if you're looking for something of substance, then the only way series can be interesting is if you homebrew it into other settings. I, for example, had great fun imagining that Golden Kamui was happening not too far from them, and this world would fit quite nicely in the Princess Principal universe as well. Not sure about the Greyman universe though, and yes, I really have nothing better to do with my time and will probably write a game in a similar setting. It's not like I have anything better to do, you know?